I've found that with arms, it can be a little bit different with training sometimes compared to the bigger muscle groups. We've got to think that the bicep and the tricep are such small muscles in comparison to everything else in the body, you know, the quads, the pecs, lats, everything. When we're training these bigger muscle groups, they're going to get very easily fatigued compared to the smaller muscle groups. Well, they may fatigue at the same rate, but they're not going to recover at the same rate, is what I'm trying to say. So with the biceps and the triceps, you could pretty much hammer them one day, and then if you were to hammer the, say, quad on the same day, and we looked at a time scale of what's most recovered as time goes on, the arms are going to be way more recovered than the quad as the days go on, just because of the size of the muscle. Obviously, there's a lot of factors at play there as well. Like, you could argue then, well, oh, you're getting more active recovery through the quad because you're having to walk around, or you could say the same about the arm because you're having to lift things and do things all day. So there's no real right or wrong with that, I think, but from experience, I've found that if I do smash my arms and I train them really hard, they don't really stay sore. Like, I can't remember ever really having sore biceps that's hindered me for days, but I can remember having really sore quads that's made life quite hard. So my approach over the last 6 months, which is the time period that I feel I've managed to add the most size the quickest, has been to basically just train them whenever I get a chance. So even if it's a leg day, I might just throw some bicep curls in at the end just for the sake of it. The only exceptions to that rule would be if I was noticeably sore in whatever muscle I'm about to go and train. Like, I'm not going to train my biceps if they're already still destroyed from the last time I did them. And then the other exception would be if I know it's going to, or it's likely to, impair something that I have to do the next day. Whether that's a certain sport you compete in, or whether that's just your lift for the next day. If I've got bench on a Tuesday, I'm not going to smash my triceps on a Monday night because it's just obviously fucking dumb. Like, you're not going to perform as well as you could have on the bench on Tuesday if you've wrecked your triceps on the Monday night. So you have to kind of use a little bit of common sense and plan around like what is actually happening on the other days. Don't just think about today. You need to be strategic with it, you know? So I am still saying train your arms as much as you can, and that was my original point at the start of the video, but you just need to be strategic with it because it's very easy to then hinder the other days of your week or whatever kind of sport you're doing. Then there's also another perspective, which is feeder workouts, which is something that Rich Piana talked about. So for example, he said you could basically get a dumbbell or a set of dumbbells, put them next to your bed, and just every night before you go to sleep, do like, I don't know how many reps or sets it was or whatever, but do 3 sets of 20, say, for your biceps and your triceps. If you do that every night for 6 months, do you think your arms are going to get any smaller? Because if you do, you're not very smart, or you've not trained for very long. Like, the only thing that's going to happen, unless you are really malnourished and you've got minus 100 testosterone, your arms are going to grow. Like, there's no reason that the body won't adapt to the stimulus and the demand placed upon it. Really though, it doesn't actually matter what anybody says to you, what a coach says to you, what I say to you. If I was coaching you, all that matters is how you feel, because you are the only person in your own body. So if you are going into the gym and you feel like you could do more for your biceps or your triceps on that given day, then there's no reason why you shouldn't do that. Like, it's only going to benefit you. I have really tried to push this now as well with my arms, and I seriously have. Like, no matter how much I do for my biceps, they are never ever going to stay sore. They're not going to hinder me for the next workout. And realistically as well, from my perspective as a powerlifter, that being my main sport, the biceps being sore literally doesn't mean shit. Like, I can still bench, I can still squat, I can still deadlift. You could argue that it's going to impair the bench a little bit because you've not got as strong of a co-contraction, but I don't think it matters. I still bench the same numbers, so it doesn't really matter. But over this time of like trying to literally destroy my arms, they just keep recovering and just seem to keep growing and keep getting stronger, which is obviously the only indicators that we're watching to make sure we're actually improving and getting bigger over time.